All right, so how did you start working with Julian Cope?
I met Julian through a guy called Tony Foster, who was the guitar player for Julian.
Okay.
Tony played in 6x7 for a bit, and he plays in Spiritualized now. And I met Julian, and then I became friends with Julian, and then I worked with him for about 12 years, I think.
Wow.
I recorded his music.
Okay, because I was trying to sort all that out, and some of it's not easy to figure out when I'm trying to actually do my day job and try to research for this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so what era is this? What time frame is this going on with 6x7, or is this after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think that was probably during the time when I was paying money back.
Okay.
Like working for him was like a kind of little bit of a lucrative sideline. Wasn't that lucrative, but it was like I didn't get any royalties or anything. I just sort of I recorded his albums. He used to come into my house and use my equipment, or I used to put my equipment into the car, drive it to his house and record him there.
Okay.
I really don't know how many albums I did with him. I've got no idea because he never told me what we were doing most of the time. And then he wouldn't credit you, and he wouldn't tell you. And this record would come out, and I'd be like, oh, I did that. And,
But it wouldn't be anywhere for you to, on the record, wouldn't credit you at all?
No.
Oh, duck.
Or he'd put you a different name, or he gave people different names, or he did all sorts of weird stuff, probably just so that he didn't have to give anybody any royalties.
Is that why you came up? You have a credit on Discogs as Ron Boots?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I think I'm Ron Boots.
I think that's what it says on Discogs. I'm looking up, and it has aliases D. Schneider and Ron Boots.
Is that me?
That's what it says on your on Discogs.com, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, he came to my studio, and because I speak German, he said to me, "Oh, how do you say this in German?" And it was something like "kill the priests," and I went, "Oh, töte die Priester." And he went, "Oh, okay," and he wrote that down. And he said, "How do you say this?" And he wrote that down. Then he said, "What does that synth there do? Switch it on." And I switched it on. He said, "Can you make it sort of just play a bass line?" And I went, "Yeah." So I sat and did that. And he went, "Oh, that's good. Yeah. Oh, record it." Right. Okay. And then he said he got the microphone, and he said, "Get some microphones up." We got a microphone up, and then we put headphones on. Then he went, "Shout this into the microphone." And I went, "Oh, töte die Priester." And then he went, "Oh, and then we was doing that. We were just having a laugh,
Yeah.
And then he was going, "Fuck with that." And then he'd play something else. And then we did that for about 25 minutes. And then he said to me, "Oh, can you just bounce that down for me and just put it onto this CD?" Yeah, sure. And then he said, "Oh, if I write this out, can you say it in German for me?" And I went, "Yeah." So he wrote this prose out about a Messerschmitt bomber or something, and then he said, "Read that in German." So I read it in German. He went, "Oh, nice one. And can you put on a disc for me?" "Yeah, sure." And then he said, "Oh, I've got this drone here. You know that synth you've got there? Can you put another drone over?" "Yeah, sure." And then it would just be like that. And and all of a sudden I'd look at his website, and there was this band called...
Is it Kabbalist?
The Kabbalist. Yeah, Kabbalist. And with an album cover and all the rest of it, and it was called, and it had a name in German which she'd spelled wrong, and then...
Is it?
And I didn't think anything of it. And then I found out it was all this stuff that I'd done.
Oh my God.
And of course, and then he phoned me up and he said, "Oh, by the way, you're in Kabbalist now." And I was like, "What is that?" And he said, "Oh, it's this it's a band with two people in it, Hugo DeClay and Ron Boots. And I said, well, who am I? And he said, you're Ron Boots. And he said, but you mustn't ever tell anyone about this. You must never, ever tell anyone, because I've played this to my friends in America who are in this band called Sun, and they think it's really good. And if they find out that the guy from 6x7 is in it, they probably won't like it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how he used to talk to me.
Oh.
And I, of course, used to sort of just go, oh, all right. And really what I should have done was I should have said to him, withdraw that record immediately or pay me 50% royalties.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you actually have 2 credits on as Ron Boots and Dee Schneider.
Oh, I'm Dee Schneider as well, am I?
Yeah, well, that's what the website Discogs has.
Well, after I stopped working with him, I just put it out on the internet that, you know, I was Ron Boots and I was on this record, and which he wouldn't have liked. But it's like, well, you know, what are you hiding me away for? You know, you want me to do this, but then you want, because 6x7 doesn't really fit into your, you know, it's not out there enough. He's a strange one, he is.
Yeah, I've always kind of gotten that vibe just through his music, but I never met anybody who had worked with him, so I didn't know it was that bizarre. Sounds like a very bizarre relationship, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how to qualify it.
Well, it was one of those relationships where you look up to someone, like that's what I did. I looked up to him and I admired him for, you know, and he'd written some of these brilliant songs, and, you know, and I couldn't believe that I was working with him and that, and he looked down on me and he just used me and rinsed me. But that's what, you know, he told me he was doing that. He was like, I'm an artist and I'll only have people in my life who are useful to me.
Wow.
And that's what he would say to my face.
I guess
your band got it all wrong and all of this sort of stuff. And I said, you don't like 6x7? He said, it's not that I don't like it, it's that I just don't love it. And, you know, and he's very much like in his own world, in his own territory, and he's very ruthless. I mean, you don't get to be who he, you know, you don't get to be a successful singer, like artist, unless you are ruthless, and he's got plenty of that in him. And, you know, a lot of people that I've met on my travels doing this are narcissistic, they're ruthless, egocentric. They display all the human qualities that you need to thrive. We're talking about nasty, nasty pieces of work who will slit their own mother's throat for, you know, what it is they want. People that don't have any empathy, remorse, you know, nothing, and they end up running the world.
Exactly. I had this exact conversation with somebody else a couple of months ago. You know, to get to that level, you've got to be pretty ruthless and willing to do just about anything.
Yeah, the more ruthless you are, the higher you'll go.
Yep.